What is up, everyone? Dan the Card Man back again. Welcome to another video. Very glad to have you here. Now, today we're going to talk through, how Marvel PMGs have recently shit the bed in terms of pricing and how we're going to see some influencers and why I need you all to be hyper aware of some of these things that influencers are going to start doing in order to try and save face. Now, to give you some context, I've spoken about Marvel PMGs many times in the channel over the last 6 to 12 months, probably even 18 months. I've held off on talking about this a little bit lately just because it's so painfully obvious that the prices are coming down. I don't want to remind you when you've got 50 other channels doing the same thing. However, there's a few things that have happened lately that I really need to try and call out to make you all aware so you can sort of, not get fooled into, buying into some of the crap that these influencers are saying. Now, the Great Curator is probably the biggest one to talk about, whether he intended to do this or not. Like, I don't know the guy personally, so I can't comment on whether this was, a proper shill job from him. But if you go back and watch some of his older videos, he very clearly was a huge pump for the Marvel PMG market, okay? And you have to go off, some of the things he said. Sports Card Radio mentioned it in a recent video, as did AIH Sports, which is what I'm going to talk to, in a second, because he's a guy that talked it up all the time, but now, in a recent video, he's really backtracking in terms of the things that he was saying. He was saying, no, I wasn't, pumping this sort of stuff up. I wasn't saying you need to make your money off this. I wasn't saying go out and buy this sort of stuff so I can offload my stuff. I was just saying, money's a secondary. It's a byproduct of collecting cards. You get money by just buying a card. That's why people collect. And he was just trying to backtrack a lot of the sort of stuff that he was explaining. And this was flagged in AIH Sports video that I'll pop up on screen now, which was really disappointing to see, in my opinion. I'm not sure if I already said it, but I have liked some of the stuff that the Great Curator has put out in the past. But the more I watch of him and the more that I've seen lately, he just seems to be, and when I say lately, I mean, the last 12 months, he just seems to be, playing a character. He seems very fake on camera. I'm not sure what he's trying to do. He keeps changing his mind in terms of, what he wants to be. Is he pumping cards? Is he collecting? All this sort of stuff. It's a weird vibe from the guy. And then lately, a lot of his posts and card show vlogs have been really negative in the sense that he's constantly complaining about the fact that nobody wants to buy his cards. So I don't know why he's on that tangent then, but it's just been a bit strange to see this sort of stuff from him. A bit disappointing, like as an old fan, as an OG fan of the guy, right? Because it's just a bit of a mess. And the reason why I wanted to flag this today in a video for you is because, like I said, so many influencers are going to start doing that sort of stuff, as I mentioned, he flagged within AIH Sports video, right? Where you've got guys now starting to backtrack and try and pull the wool over your eyes and say they weren't doing these things in an effort to try and retain you as viewers, right? And you're free to do whatever it is you want, right? I'm not here to telling you who you can and can't watch. What I am saying is just keep this stuff front of mind when you're watching these guys all of a sudden starting to say, no, I wasn't pumping. If you go back and watch all their videos in the past, and they've got hundreds of videos talking about doing exactly the thing they're saying they never did in the first place, that should raise some questions about that individual's character, in my opinion. And yes, people can change their opinion, so on and so forth, but there's a difference between backtracking, trying to cover your ass, and also just, changing your opinion or growing as you get more experience, right? And it's been a bit shocking to see, but not surprising. Like I've said in the past, these prices blew up out of nowhere. And I've sort of had this view on Marvel PMGs, since they first came out, 2013, 2015. People always placed a value on them because they were, collecting those sets. But what I've always failed to understand with these sort of collectible card games that aren't tied to trading card games, aren't tied to, IPs like Pokemon, where you've got kids playing the game so they want the cards. Yeah, people can watch movies as Marvel, but it doesn't have the same correlation, in my opinion. It's always been very weird to see prices, hit 200k, but then all of a sudden now this same set of cards is worth 10k, right? And I think I've put this up on the screen when the auction first ended a few weeks ago. That sort of stuff just never seemed tangible to me. It just seems so airy-fairy in terms of how it could get a price that high. When do people actually care about that stuff? And then you've got people, like I said, pushing these agendas, pushing these shield beliefs, pushing all this sort of stuff to try and get you to buy in. Are they doing it so you can buy into, so they can sell their stuff and make money and dump? Who knows? But that's sort of, where my line of thinking is. And like I said, I've been talking for 4 minutes now, probably a little bit about nothing, to be honest. But the point of this video, right, is just be aware of this stuff that is happening. Don't let these guys off the hook. I'm not saying go after them or anything like that, but, be willing to call things out when you do see them. Be willing to speak up when you do see this sort of stuff. Be willing to say, hang on a minute, what do you mean you didn't tell me to go out and buy this product? What do you mean you weren't pumping this product? You very clearly were. You need to ask these sorts of questions, because these guys think you're idiots by making these kinds of videos and saying they weren't doing these sorts of things, or making these kinds of videos to try and backtrack on what they were doing, or make these kind of videos to, try and pivot the opinion, try and create fake news around what it is they were doing in the first place, right? They think you're stupid, and that's why they're doing this sort of stuff. They don't care about you. They just care about, the revenue they can make off the back of your views. And that's okay too, right? Because this is a job for some people. But it's the method in which they're doing it that I don't like, and I don't think you will like either. So, like I said, not calling anyone out specifically here, I just think we're going to start seeing a lot more influencers start doing this sort of stuff when their whole shtick has been, you know, pumping up prices, pushing product to people that they don't truly care about, pushing product to people to try and push the price up, doing all these things. That was their shtick. So now that it's gone, what are they going to do? And they're trying to find a new place because they've realized that it didn't work, right? And maybe things will come back, maybe. But right now, you're seeing a lot of backtracking happening, and you're getting a lot of guys calling people out for, you know, saying this sort of stuff. This is not being negative, like I've said before in the past. I know, like, the great curators going after people saying, you're saying I'm shilling, you're saying I'm pumping, you're being negative by saying those things. I'm having a discussion. This is not being negative, okay? This is not being negative. When you do one thing, and then you sorry, I should say, when you say one thing and then you do another, that doesn't look too good on your part. And then you say one thing 12 months ago, and then 12 months later you say you didn't say that thing or you did those things. Again, that doesn't look too good on your part. You're going to start seeing more and more of it, in my opinion, as prices continue to come down. You're going to see people that are true collectors and truly in the hobby as dealers, as investors, all these sorts of things, because they are, you know, legitimate avenues for collecting and being within this hobby. I'm not hating on any of those things, but you're going to see in the next 6 to 12 months, in my opinion, the people that are legitimate with their views on collecting, legitimate with their opinions, and they're actually, you know, nice people and doing this for the right reasons. You're going to start seeing these guys, you know, build and build and build, and these guys that are coming in, pumping, essentially lying to their viewers, taking advantage of their viewers, they're going to start falling away because, you know, people are becoming more experienced within the hobby. Yes, we've had a lot of new people come in and that sort of stuff. Yeah, and yes, we've had, you know, many existing collectors. But once these guys get educated and things uplift, you're going to start seeing some of these guys that were coming in purely for the easy views, for the easy money, low effort videos, getting high reward. They're going to drift away. And that's a good thing in my opinion. I know I'm talking about a different topic again now. My point is, influencers, they're going to keep trying to pull the wool over your eyes. So call this stuff out when you do see it. Now, apologies if my voice is a little raspy. As I've mentioned in the last couple of videos, my team played in the grand final, the NRL grand final last night. Unfortunately, you know, we got rolled. We probably lost to the best team of my lifetime, in my opinion. They've made 3 finals in a row, our opposition. They won back-to-back titles last night. The first 40 minutes from them was unbelievable. Probably the best 40 minutes of football played by any team in my lifetime. The drought continues for my Parramatta Eels. It's going to be 37 years without a title. Unfortunately, still haven't seen one in my lifetime. Hopefully, we can go one better next year. But that's, you know, part of the fun of being a season ticket holder as a fan, right? You go every week and you sort of watch the young players come through, watch them grow, and then hopefully one day see them lift the trophy. So, you know, wish me luck for season 2023. It's going to be a long off season. It was a very painful game to sit at yesterday, but I did my job. I sat there for the 80 minutes and, you know, gave my team my support, even though they probably didn't play too well. It is unfortunate, but that's sport and that's life. That's part of the fun. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Cheers.